Strat-O-Matic Excel Carryover League. Brought to you by the Shrimp Troll.
(1973 to 1976). Welcome back, baseball fans. The 1973-76 Carryover League. We got a series today. First place clubs a year ago. The White Sox and the Tigers. And if you're wondering, the schedule this year has had all the first place teams. Let's get a aerial shot here. All the first place teams are playing all the other first place teams the first 3 series of our schedule in both leagues, and then they finish up with their divisions. So it's been tough coming out of the blocks for all these first place teams. With everything's been so difficult, making it seem like it's a topsy-turvy year, but that's just how the schedule fell this year. It's a rotating basis. Some years the second, the third, or the fourth place teams have this schedule. It just rotates as I mix it up so I don't get the same schedule every year. Let's take a look at standings and show how that is played out in the National League. It's going to show the fewest number of games played for a first place team a year ago. Here, the Mets have just played 9 games. Everybody else has played more, but the Mets have failed. They only beat the Vegas, but they lost to the Orioles and Giants. Here are the Reds, 7-5, because they lost the series to Vegas, believe it or not, which is weird. But the Reds will be fine, and they still have to play the Pirates, Cardinals, Cubs, of course. Vegas, 4-7, but this whole division is horrible except for Portland. The winner of the National League is the Giants, who actually lost a best-of-5 to the Reds, but they beat Oakland 2 straight, and they beat the Mets 3 straight to make up for it. So the Giants look like they are real, with a big winning record and the easier part of their schedule coming up. American League, there's still games to be played. Oakland started terribly against the Tigers and the Giants. Now they have to play the Orioles. After playing the Orioles, they'll play their division. Same thing up here with the Orioles. But the Orioles have had a great start because they beat up the White Sox 3-1, and they beat up the Mets 2 straight. So they've only played 6 games. Look at Toronto and Boston playing 18 already. So Baltimore now has to just ride it all the way through. Start on top and hope they don't get caught by Boston, Toronto, and the Yankees at this point. Which puts us to the teams in the middle, the Tigers and the White Sox. So let's take you to what's happened in this series. Both teams opened 3-3. So someone's going to be disappointed with a losing record by the time this series is all over. Series that was up in Detroit. Wilbur Wood and the White Sox versus Gary Gentry and the Tigers. Starts off well for the White Sox. George Orta doubles, scores on a Lamar Johnson ground ball, 1-zip. But in the bottom of the first, a single, a stolen base, 2 outs, and who else but Willie Horton, a.k.a. White Sox killer, with a 2-run homer. What else is new? It's 2-1 Tigers. Second inning, White Sox get a bunch of base runners, and Bob Stinson gets a bases-loaded walk. Nice little catcher addition, platooning with Brian Downing. Game is tied at 2 until the 4th inning, when Willie Horton's second trip to the box off of Wilbur Wood, it goes out of the park again. It's 3-2. It stays that way. The White Sox had a couple runners in the 4th, a runner in the 5th, a walk in the 6th, and the 7th, and in the 8th. In the ninth, Downing walks. There's an out. Runner at first. Lamar Johnson, Dick Allen with a tie run at first base. Lamar Johnson's got to stay out of the double play so that Dick Allen can bat. Lamar Johnson hits into a double play, so Dick Allen cannot bat. They're going to have to figure that thing out with Lamar Johnson and Dick Allen having virtually the same looking card. They're both 320 hitters with a 1-5 template, but it just didn't work out at the end there for the White Sox. Tigers win 3-2 on the Willie Horton home runs. Wood, 7 2/3, 6 hits, 3 runs, a walk and 4 Ks. By the way, in the bottom of the 8th inning, LaFleur singled, stole a base, moved up on a bunt. With the infield up, K-Line grounded out, and they brought in Rich Gossage to face Willie Horton instead of Wilbur Wood because of, so that was a move to save. Tigers could have had more runs. White Sox put 13 men on base, Tigers put 7 men on base, but the home runs killed them. Game number 2, and oh boy, this one. White Sox went out in the offseason to get Jim Cott, and so far has not done a whole lot. The Tigers run roughshod over Cott. LaFleur triple, but he gets gunned down at the plate on a ground ball. Doesn't matter. You get single, 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 and a 2-out double by Jerry Terrell. 3rd inning, Willie Horton, another home run. He's got 4 hits, 3 homer, 6 RBIs at this point, 5 RBIs at this point. You get a Jerry Moses home run, 6 runs. Cott hits the point of weakness by the 4th inning. He's gone. Mike Garman, Stan Bonson mop it up and do a nice job, by the way, out of the bullpen. Meanwhile, the White Sox are just stumbling along here. Just stumbling along. In the 9th inning with 2 outs, Tony Muser ruins the shutout of, yes indeed, Tiger starter Mark Fidrich. He was 1 out away from a 6-0 shutout, had to settle for a 6-1 complete game victory. Fidrich, 9 innings, 8 hits, a 1 run, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. Cott, 4 innings, 11 hits, 6 earned runs. Awful. Just awful. So, yeah, the White Sox, I guess you could say they are in a little bit of trouble. Let's take a look at that idea, that concept. What it really is a little bit of trouble when you look at the big picture here. So the Tigers are 5-3, just 8 games played. Expos have played 16 games. And you see this whole division is just anybody's. What you like to see is that this division is a frisky one. Look at nobody's got a losing record. Out of the Midwest, we thought the White Sox and the Royals would be contending for the title. They're both kind of floundering, and frankly, the White Sox have only played 8 games. The Royals have played 15. So I believe the White Sox should have more time to fix their woes than the Royals. Brewers, 8-5 after sweeping the Royals. They theoretically don't have the pieces. I think your favorite at this moment might be the Twins, as they have a really nice roster. They had an opportunity to be 7-3 at one point, and they weren't able to finish that series. Ended up being 8-6 now. And the White Sox are 2.5 games out. They don't want to lose today and be 3 out, but after this series, the White Sox will be playing all 3 of these teams. And again, Oakland and Baltimore, we told you what they'll have to do, and that'll be the next broadcast you see. So here we are. Hopefully the home cooking in Chicago will help the White Sox today. Interesting game. The first 2 games, White Sox threw a lefty, Tigers threw righties. So now we get to flip all that and hope, for the White Sox sake, the bashing of lefties continues, because the Tigers will send Mickey Lolich. Mickey has deferred the top of the rotation to Mr. Fidrich. Mickey's still good in 75, but he's got a 3.77 ERA in 241 innings. As a starter 8, who really locks down those lefties, but isn't as good as he used to be against righties. White Sox have countered with putting Orta and Muser and Stinson on the bench. So they're going with, 9 righties. The White Sox will send Bart Johnson out there. practically has a card as good or better than Jim Cott's, though Bart is only throwing 122 innings in 74 with a 2.73 ERA and a 10-4 record, and they need him. They need a win. The White Sox could use a win or two or three, or they're going to have to start winning all their divisional series. So that's the backdrop today. This is also kind of a story of how, in a league structure that I set up mirroring the NFL, where you have 8 divisions, 4 teams in a division, it seems like in the NFL every year, the same 6 teams go to the playoffs, and then there's a new 6 teams. And based on the schedule, that's sort of, early on at least, looking like it might happen again, where it's just so hard to win your division 2 years in a row because the schedule gets that much difficult. So with that thought, let's begin today. Game 3, Tigers White Sox. Leading off for the Tigers, it's Ron LaFleur. 57 is a strikeout. Dick McCullough, first at-bat in the series. 57 is a strikeout. He's your starting second baseman, but not against lefties. And Willie Horton, the boos are coming down on White Sox. What are you going to do? 38 is a fly ball to center field, and they rejoice. Bottom of the first, leading off, Brian Downing. On base machine, 1-9's a walk. B. Steeler. Bucky Dent's batting second. Who's catching again? The +2 arm? Let's do a hit and run here. Let's try and mix it up a little bit. And it's a fielder's choice. So now Dent's on, replacing Downing at first. Lamar Johnson. 4-12 center C. And with 2 outs, White Sox moved Melton into the cleanup spot today and slid Dick Allen into the 5 spot to break up Johnson and Allen. So now batting cleanup today, Bill Melton. 2-5 is a walk. That's a good move. Now you got Dick Allen and all those extra base hits in the 5 spot with 2 on and 2 outs. Here's your pitch to Dick Allen. 66 off of Lolich's double 1 to 11. It's going to be a 2-base hit, and the runner scores. Second and third for Ken Henderson. 58, second X. This is McAuliffe today at 2E13 at second base. He makes the play. 1-0 White Sox. First lead of the series, I think. Norm Cash, 54, center X. Good defense in the outfield for the White Sox. 2E6 Ken Henderson, though he struggled a little bit in Detroit with an error. He makes that catch. Bill Freehan, 5'11", pitcher X. Bart Johnson's an E0. Don't have to roll my home team E0 pitchers. Speeds the game up. Jim Northrup, 5'11", pitcher X. Not rolling it. And some may say, but you can get a hit. And I'm like, it's my game, my rules. Home team pitchers, E0s. I don't roll. They're all GBAs. Just goes into the home team home field advantage rules. And if you're wondering, in Detroit, Fitters is an E0, Lolich E0, Gentry E0. That could have come into play. Practically didn't, but. Bob Coluccio, 2-9, double 1 and 3. He's a base hit. Beckert, in for Orta today. Let's do another hit and run. Let's make one of these. Or miss one. Runner has to steal on a 7, and Coluccio is gunned down by the +2 arm of Bill Freehan. That's not seeming to work. We're just going to have to roll the cards from now on. Glenn Beckert now, 2-8, grounds the third. Buddy Bradford, 1-6, triple 1 to 8. It's a base hit. Back up top to Brian Downing. 1-5 is a ground ball to short. Top of the third. Verizor, 65. Pops to first. Mickey Stanley, 35. Grounds are short. Dave Chalk, 2-8. Grounds to third. Bart Johnson, 9 up and down. Bottom of the third, it's Bucky Dent. 2-12, center. Lamar Johnson, 68. Base hit. Bill Melton, 1-8. Let's take a look at the Melton card. This could be the catalyst here. Bill Melton. Against the righties, he was batting 6th. Decided to experiment, put him in a cleanup spot against the lefties. He has the automatic homer on 8. More importantly, he has walks on 5 and 5 in the 1 and 2 column. Plus, the template is different than the template that Johnson and Allen have. Splitting that up. The only problem with Melton, of course, is double plays. He's got to avoid those. In 73, he hit 20 homers and 276 and a 276 batting average, 29 doubles, 75 walks. 1-8. Bill Melton, sir. That's a 2-run dinger, and the Chi Sox have a 3-0 lead. Dick Allen. 1-5. Well, let's take a look at the card. Dick Allen. Now the White Sox have figured it out, looks like. 73, he was injured. Coming off the MVP. Actually, statistically improved per fewer at-bats with a .316 average and 16 home runs off the MVP performance. So no letdown on the card. He's not as fast as he used to be. He used to be a B stealer. Not a big deal. Tons of extra base hits against lefties. 1-5. That is gone. In his pursuit of Willie Horton's home run total, Allen gets one of his own. 4-zip. Ken Henderson. 1-6. Triple 1-7 double. That's a triple for Henderson. Runner at third, 1 out. Coluccio. A bunder. They got to bring the infield up. 1-9 short. So the runner holds. Wasn't a B. It was an A. So the infield up, the runner holds. Runner at third, 2 outs now for Glenn Beckert. And Beckert delivers a single. And the White Sox have a 5-0 lead. Yes, it's the lefty slaughter. Left-handed pitchers will be getting hammered. Well, Wilbur Wood didn't get hammered. Wilbur Wood pitched well. It was just Horton was hammering him. Buddy Bradford, 43, is right X. In right field is Stanley. He's a 2-7. Makes the catch. All right, 5-zip White Sox in the 4th. It's Ron LaFleur, 4-10. Center X, Ken Henderson, 2-6. Makes the grab. Dick McAuliffe, 6-11. Left X. Left field is Coluccio at 2-5. Makes the catch. If you're wondering, Bradford in right field is a 2-3 with a -2 arm. Outstanding outfield defense for a White Sox team. Not normally known for that. At least by the end of the decade, they won't be. Willie Horton, 6'10". Third X, and it's Melton. He's a 326 at third base. He makes the play. A perfect 12 for Bart Johnson. Bottom of the 4th. It's Brian Downing, 2-11. Short. Bucky Dent, 2-11. Again, pops second. And Lamar Johnson, 1-8, is a base hit. And Bill Melton, fans love him here. 47, that's a strikeout, though. Into the 5th, it's Norm Cash. 69 is a fly by the left. Bill Freehand, 5'10 is catcher's X. It's Downing, a 2-5. Makes the play. And Jim Northrup, 58, grounder to second X. And Beckert in there. Defensive improvement on Orta, 3-12. And he makes the play. Former Cub Glenn Beckert, now with the White Sox. Perfect 15 for Johnson to arouse applause from the White Sox faithful here. Bottom of the 5th, let's pause a moment for station identification.
This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel.
Este es el canal de videos de camaroneros.
Okay. Can the White Sox keep the goodwill going, flowing? Dick Allen. 34, grounds to third. Ken Henderson, 111, short. Bob Coluccio, 2-9, double 1-3, is a base hit. It's 2 for 3 today. Glenn Beckert, 35, double to right field with 2 outs. Coluccio, a 15 runner, 16-17, -1 arm is a 16. He scores in a 5. It's 6-0 White Sox. Number 9 hitter Buddy Bradford. 38's a strikeout. 6-zip into the 6th we go. It's Tom Bereiser. 56 is a fly by the left. Mickey Stanley, 49, short X. This is Bucky Dent. He's a 2. 2-16 makes the play. And Dave Chalk. 56 is a sky to left, and Bart Johnson's done it. 18 up and down. Yeah, I'll say it. Never had a perfecto. I've had about a half dozen no-hitters in about 30 years or whatever. I don't know. It just seems that it's almost impossible to get any of those. But here we sit. Bottom of the 6th. It's Brian Downing. 62, Sky's the center. Bucky Dent, 1-6, Sky's the center. And Lamar Johnson, 37 is a K. And you know what? White Sox, they're going to be tricky here. Tony Muser, the last good defensive player on their bench, will come in and play first base in the Johnson spot. Dick Allen will go to DH. Just to give a little bit more defense with 9 outs to get. For Bart Johnson and a 6-0 lead into the 7th. It's Ron LaFleur. 6-10 third X, it's Melton. The 3-26. He makes the play. He's probably, looking at the defense here, 2-2. 3-2-2-2, 3-2. So Beckert and Melton are the 3s. Everybody else is a 2. That is excellent for the White Sox. That's what you need to get to a World Series. All right, Dick McAuliffe. 3-5 is a walk for Dick McAuliffe, and there goes your perfect game. A Dick McAuliffe walk. 1 on, 1 out, it's Willie Horton. 46, it's single 1 of 12, and he gets the 7, and there it goes, folks. 6 1/3 perfect, and back-to-back base runners. And if he's getting tired, it's understandable. He is a starter 7. One more base runner is the point of weakness for Bart. With 2 on and 1 out, it's Norm Cash. 45, triple 1, and there goes the shutout. And that seems like, in a progression, the time to go to the pen. So, 8 outs to get with a 5-run lead. The temptation to go right to Gossage for an 8-out save is there, though. I kind of want to save the White Sox pen just a little bit. I got 3 wins to get if they want to win this series. So we're going to go Terry Forster here. Just to pick up a couple outs off of the plate that Rich Goss doesn't have to get. We're going to go Forster in the 7th here. 6 1/3 innings. With runners on the corners, it'll be Bill Freehan. Terry Forster, let's show you Terry Forster's card. 3.63 ERA in 74 and 134 innings. Really good at getting lefties out. Practically will pitch through all the way to Cash. And then they'll go to Gossage after that. So here's Bill Freehan. 63 is pitcher B. They played back for a double play. So they get the force out at second base, but the runner from third does score. We have a runner at first and 2 outs, and the lefty Jim Northrup. 110 rolls to first. All right. Bottom of the 7th. It is stretch time. Here in Chicago, we are enjoying the brilliant Syl Johnson, Back for a Taste of Your Love, featuring I Hate, I Walked Away, Anyway the Wind Blows. Great stuff. Feeling Frisky, Leave Frisky Alone. Great LP by Syl Johnson in 1973, right at the beginning of our timeline. Back to the game. Bottom of the 7th, Lolich will continue. Bill Melton. 38's a base hit. Dick Allen. 412, center C. Henderson, 69, base hit to right field. Melton will hold at second. 2 on for Bob Coluccio, who's had a nice day today, 2 for 3. 55 is a walk. And now the bases are loaded. With 1 out, I think we're going to call it a day for Lolich. They're trying to stay in this game, are the Tigers, down 4. But they got the bases loaded, 1 out. And you got righty, righty, righty. So they're going to go Oscar Zamora out of the Tiger pen. Oscar was actually a Cub in 74 with a 3.11 ERA. Tigers added him to split time between the two lefties, Bob Veal and John Hiller. So Zamora comes on in the 7th with the bases loaded. Infield will come up for Glenn Beckert, who is 2 for 3 as well. 2-5 the infield up is a 5-2 force out. Bases remain loaded, playing back now for Buddy Bradford. And 2-7 is single 1-9, and he gets the single. On a single 1-9, that will score the runner. It's 7-2. Back up top to Brian Downing. 62. That's a comebacker to the mound. 7-2 in the 8th. Forster continues. Tom Verizor. 47 is a K. Mickey Stanley. 38 is a K. And with 4 outs to get, we're going to split some time here. We're going to pull Forster after inning in a 3rd. We're going to bring in the Goose, Rich Gossage, to get the final 4 outs so that each pitcher's only faced 4 batters to keep them fresher as this series progresses. So Gossage will come on in the 8th. This is not a safe situation with a 5-run lead. Basically, he needs work. He didn't play in the first 2 games. Actually, he played in the first game, just faced 1 batter. Brilliant 75 for Gossage, 9-8 with a 184 ERA in 142 innings. In our league, he was the runner-up to Catfish Hunter for the Cy Young. Was the best closer, plus he also led all relievers in innings pitched, something that the Dodgers' Mike Marshall is going to attempt this year in the National League. Gossage did last year. So Gossage comes on in the 8th, needs to get 4 outs. Again, nothing but righties on the bench, so Detroit's just going to roll with this. Dave Chalk is the batter. 53, he rolls to first. All right, bottom of the 8th, and I think the Tigers are kind of throwing in the towel here. They're going to go back to a lefty, Bob Veal, to pitch the 8th. And fight their battles another day. Keep their bullpen fresh as well. Bob Veal. Veal, former Pirate, was actually in the Red Sox bullpen in 1973 with just 36 innings and a 347 earned run average, and they gave him this card. Bob Veal to Bucky Dent. Here's the pitch. Dent, 1-1, base hit. Tony Muser in the 3 spot now. 3-12's a walk. 2 on, no one out for Bill Melton. 64, he walks. They're loaded for Dick Allen. Trying to blow this thing open. 2-5, it's a 6-4-3 double play. A run will score. No RBI given. Runner at 3rd, 2 outs for Ken Henderson. 2-6 is a single. Runner from 3rd scores. Henderson at 1st for Coluccio, who Ks. 9-2 in the 9th. You know, now I'm thinking, at this point, shoot, I'll just get Gossage out of there too. What's the point, you know? Let's just go to, I don't know, Stan Bonds and get to the last 9 innings. We'll keep our guys fresher and fresher as the lead gets bigger and bigger. Stan Bonson will finish this one. Didn't deprive a save for Gossage. 8-7, 334 ERA in 143 innings. Could move into the rotation if the number 4 starter Jerry Bell were to struggle. So top of the lineup, Ron LaFleur, 55 strikes out. Dick McCullough, 4-8, second X. Second baseman Becker's 3-12, and with 2 outs, Horton. Willie Horton, 35 is a walk. Norm Cash, 1-7 is a strikeout. And there's your ball game. All right, we'll just get right out of this and into the next game. 7, 8, 6, 7, 8, 9. So final score is 9-2. Bart Johnson gets a win. Mickey Lolch gets a loss. Game 4 in Chicago. It will be Wilbur Wood on short rest. Wilbur Wood, who pitched Game 1, will come back in Game 4. And he will take on Dave Lemanchek for the Tigers. And again, will it be a case of the lefty gets crushed? And hopefully with the White Sox, the trend flips. And they beat up on the righty Dave Lemanchek, and the lefty Wood pitches the series to a tie, and the home team wins all 4 games. So stay tuned. We'll find out what happens. All right, baseball fans, we'll take a look here at the box score of the Game 3 you just saw. White Sox win it 9-2. Bart Johnson, 6 1/3. Just those 2 hits and 2 runs in the 7th. Walking a couple Ks. Lolich, 6 1/3, 13 hits, 7 runs. The lefty barrage. 3 lefties getting knocked around. Wood, Cott, Lolich. Older statesmen. But the Tigers and White Sox have a lot of righties who bash lefties, it appears. Can the White Sox get another win and have the home team win all 4 of the first games, forcing a Game 5 back to Detroit? Well, take a look here. It is Dave Lemanchek, a starter 8 relief starter, like a relief 4 starter 8. He's the theoretically worst starter of the Tigers, against Wilbur Wood. 2 outs in the first inning, K-line singles. Horton gets a single on his card. K-line goes to... he doesn't go to third. He stays at second. Freehand gets a single. K-line runs on the throw, is safe. That extends the inning. And Jerry Moses on his own card, 3-5. Your 2-out, 3-run homer. That's just a killer. 4 hits after 2 outs, 4 runs on the homer. So the White Sox start in a hole in the 3rd inning. Muser doubles, an error on Jerry Moses, RBI single, Orta, it's 4-1. 6th inning, Ken Henderson double, RBI single, Buddy Bradford, it's 4-2. 7th inning, Verizon leads off with a double, LaFleur's walked, and the White Sox make their move. They don't want to let this lefty get knocked out around anymore, and they go to Gossage in the 7th. Well, they bunt, and they get a sac fly, and they get that run anyway. Gossage strikeout to end the inning. It's 5-2. In the 8th inning, Jerry Moses against Gossage on Moses' own card, folks. That's where they're coming from. Jerry Moses had 4 home runs. He's got power against lefties and plenty of homers there. Against righties, he just has a homer 1-9 shot on 5, and he got it. Made it 6-2. Bottom of the 8th, Lemanchek gets Dick Allen to fly out, and with 5 outs remaining, the Tigers decided to go to John Hiller, the left-handed version of Gossage that they possess, for a 5-out save. Doesn't start well for Hiller. Gives up a single to Ken Henderson, then a single to Lamar Johnson, then a Buddy Bradford double, and suddenly this is a 6-3 game, with the tying runs coming up. But he strikes out Bill Melton, and he strikes out Tony Muser off the Hiller card as well. That was a 5-7. Then in the 9th inning, a strikeout to Dent. You do get a Brian Downing walk. Pinch hitter Glenn Beckert grounds out, and Dick Allen grounds out to end the game with Ken Henderson, the tie run on the batting circle there. It's a 6-3 final for your Tigers. Lemanchek, 7 1/3, 8 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned, no walks. So you put 8 men on base. White Sox have to regret not knocking him around more. Wood, 6 innings, 9 hits, 5 runs. Tigers put 11 men on base. White Sox put 12 men on base. The closers weren't particularly sharp, really. Gossage, 3 innings, a run. Hiller, inning and 2/3, 3 hits and a run. But the Tigers win the game 6-3, and they win the series 3-1. Let's go take a look at stats here. We'll start with the White Sox. They're now 4-6. They're hitting .253 with a .416 ERA. That's not going to get you to the World Series. So they've had some tough competition, but they got to do better than that. Wilbur Wood's 1-3. That is a little alarming right now. His ERA is almost 5. He's 15 runs in 29 innings. Cott's been awful. 12 runs in 17 2/3. Bart Johnson's been fine. And Jerry Bell's only had 1 start. That's not a good sign that they can't get to enough games for Jerry Bell to make a second start. Offensively, the hitter, Lamar Johnson's 13 for 39. Give him credit, the rookie, for at least hitting 300 with his rookie card. A power outage. Dick Allen's got 2 home runs. That's it. And a couple guys have 1. Bill Melton, in the game you saw, had his. Lamar Johnson's got 1. Everybody else, nothing. Yeah, not much more to report. Also, not surprisingly, no stolen bases for this team. They are slow. Ken Anderson must be really struggling. He's got no homers and no stolen bases and 1 RBI, 10 for 35. Just not a good start for the White Sox, but 4-6. Much more survivable than their crosstown team Cubs, who are 2-10 or something awful like that. Let's go up to the Tigers now. They're sitting 6-4, hitting .272 with a .352 ERA. So the great reports of the Tigers getting old and collapsing are they're overrated reports. They're still fighting and scratching like a clawing tiger. Hiller has 3 saves. Lolch is 0-3, but Fitterich is 2-1, making up for it. And Gary Gentry is a nice little... Actually, Gentry and LeManchuk are 3-0 combined. Horton has all of his homers against the White Sox, 3 of them, and 7 RBIs. He might have all his RBIs against the White Sox. Leading hitter in this team, it looks like Bill Freehand's 13 for 29. Excellent start for Bill Freehand. While we're on this sheet, we'll look at the total number of games. 199 games. The league's hitting .269 with a .399 ERA. And as it turns out, the Tigers and this division again, like we said, is all playing good baseball. And the White Sox are now 2.5 back. Not too terribly big a deal, as they have potential 21 games against the Royals, Brewers, and Twins to sort out the Midwest. So that's it today. Break up the Detroit Tigers. They beat the White Sox 3-1. Thanks for checking this out. We'll see you next time.